Very good evening to you on this beautiful Wednesday evening. I'm going to start straight down the mat because we're going to have to create a bit of a length for what I would like to try out tonight. So what I was thinking, in the Bead Club we've done sort of a lilac lariat necklace which has got this beautiful sort of lilac-y, we did it with representing lilacs, we did it in stone chips. There is a bigger one here in the amethyst, but what I would like to really play around and play with that, creating the rope and then decorating the rope to make more of sort of a shaggy bracelet, and work all that out, that how would that look and how would that feel. So I really want to have a little play around with that one. I did really enjoy making this this necklace when we were doing it last year. We did it over a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna grab out some size 8 seed beads. I think I'm grabbing out maybe blue, darker blue ones, thread some needle, and we can get started. Good evening, Janice. Good evening, Sue. Nice to see you here. And we're gonna do, I'm gonna have to do like a 2-3 inches of the peyote stitch base before we can decide what we're gonna put on the top. So we can decide together what we're gonna decorate it with, what we're gonna put on the top. I have done a shaggy bracelet years and years and years ago, probably about, I don't know, 15 years ago, and it's a white one. It's got a magnetic clasp on it, but I can't, and it's got like pearls and crystals and seed beads sort of mixture in it, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. It's in a safe place. So I'm going to move this to the side, move these beads back. I'm going to use this darker blue beads because they kind of got sort of all sorts of different colors in it, so you can, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, then we can decorate with purples or blues or teals, whatever we fancy on the top. Right, okay, so to do a tuber or peyote stitch with this one, you kind of need to have it so there is no stepping up. So if you go into Celine's territory, which I had, let me just grab the Celine stitch one, because I had it out here, so I can grab it for you quick. So anything, this is peyote stitch as well, but this one is much more solid, so there isn't not much more, using different sizes of course, but even if you just use the same sizes, there isn't much, it's much more rigid. So we need something, if you want a bracelet and decorate it further, where you got a really good movement in it, and I think this is definitely the right stitch for it. So we're gonna do a peyote stitch, and we're gonna just start and create a rope, and then we're gonna decorate the rope. I'm just gonna add some cream to my hands, and my hands are so dry. I'm probably not drinking enough, and keep having to moisturize it all the time. So I'm gonna start. So you need to start with uneven numbers, and I'm going to start with 5 beads. You can start with 7 or 9. Creating the tube is going to be bigger, but I'm going to start with 5, do more of a skinny version, and then see how we go. So 5 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to go through all 5 of them and probably go through a couple of times. We could knot the thread, the tail and the thread together, because we are using size 8 seed beads, so they got quite large holes, but I'm just going to go through a couple of times and then we can start the stitching. So we're starting with 5 beads. You can start with 7, or you can start with 9 if you want sort of a bigger tube. So I went through a couple of times. I'm going to come to the first 2 just to be away from my tail, and then I'm going to go ahead so I've got like a little circle. I'm going to go ahead and pick up 1 single bead. I'm going to jump over the bead in front of me and go through the next. And I'm just going to pull this up now. I'll try to kind of hold it flat. If you want to jump on the top, but sort of, I can show you what I'm doing. I'm going to try to hold it flat, not fat, flat, and then I will put it together. Then picking up another seed bead. Good evening, Barbara, nice to see you here. Again, I'm going to miss one seed bead out, go through the next. So that will sit. So this is sitting above that bead, that's sitting kind of above that bead. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up a bead, and I'm going to, instead of going in any more on the sort of the base circle and stepping up, I'm going to go into this very first one what I picked up, and I'm going to pull it tight now. So we have got a bit of a, so they're going to go onto the top of my little tube. And then I'm picking up another one, going to the next one, which is sticking out. Pulling this nice and tight, picking up another one, and then again I'm going to go to the next one which is sticking out. I'm going to pull it nice and tight from this end as well. Maybe I'm going to hold it this way. So with beauty stitch, you're always picking up one, you're missing one up, missing one, and going through the next one, and we're going to run around, kind of sort of adding a few rows of this, and then we can work out what we want to decorate on the top. So I love to have your ideas. We could use pearls, we could use crystals, we could use a mixture of two. I will probably take the seed beads down, so they're only using size 8 for the base, and then for the sort of the shaggy decoration, as I call it, we can use maybe size 11s or even size 15s. Size 15s might be tricky because they could seep into the hole, but I think size 11s will be probably perfect. So I'm just going to keep going and adding a seed bead as I go around. If you got any question, please put a Q in front of your question so I can making sure that I answer it for you. And then we got like a little tube going round and round, kind of like forming there just for us. When I got a little bit more to hold on, I will change my hand and I will hold the beadwork what I'm doing. It's always the first 2 or 3 row is the hardest one to do. Rachel is saying pip beads. Oh yeah, they would be great as well. I don't think I got any here. I don't think I got any pip beads. We got crystals, pearls. I got some stone chips as well, but then that kind of gonna look like that lariat I showed you at the beginning. So we could use just seed beads. Hang on, did I go wrong somewhere here? No, that's right, that's right. Why are you sitting there? Did I pick up 2? Oh look, I made a boo-boo. I picked up 2 instead of 1 there. I'm just like wondering what's going on here. Like, why have I got 2 seed beads? I only need 1. And I picked up 2. We're quickly gonna go back. It presents itself. So if you go wrong and you pick up an extra bead, it will present itself quite well. And you can see if you went wrong. You could start with 7 or 9 beads. I only started with a smaller one, so there is less, so it grows quicker, and then we can add things on the top. I think we could do a mixture of seed beads, 3mm pearls, perhaps crystals as well, or this is probably the perfect project to use like a bead soup up, where you got all sorts of different bits of pieces in there. Keep on going until I have got like a good length there. Just picking one up, missing up, and going through this. Now sometimes, now I've got something to hold on to, I do cheat with the stitch as well. So I pick one up, I go through what I need to go through, and then before I pull the thread all the way through, I pick another one up and go through on the next one as well. So I'm kind of like pulling 2 beads in at the same time, because it's the longest part. When your thread is long, the longest part is pulling the thread through your project. Just tap on it so it goes into a nice circle. And there we go. I got probably just under an inch so far. Chips would be good as not uniform. Yeah, absolutely. We could look at chips. I think maybe we got time. We could do a couple of different things perhaps. We haven't really done anything with chips for quite some times. And because it's gonna be, I guess we can add a bit of length to it. So the chips will sort of fall left or right. They're not gonna be rigid, so they're not gonna be uncomfortable on the wrist either. I mean, you could make it as a necklace as well, if you wanted to. So what have you been up to this week? Do let me know in the chat what you've been beading, what you've been working on, what you've been doing. I'd love to know. I did have a go at last week's Hugs and Kisses, what we did with the large pearls, and then on Friday when I was in the warehouse, I did look, and we got so many nice lovely 12mm gemstones. So I think I will switch the 12mm pearls with 12mm gemstones and do something with that, because it would look really cool to have a set where you have got necklace, earrings and a bracelet as well in the same manner, because a whole strand of gemstones will definitely give you a whole like sort of set done in that technique what we did last week. I think it looked really good. So I'm keep on going. Got just over an inch. I need just a little bit more. Just pulling my thread straight. Hi Mina, nice to see you here. So what shall we add to the top? That's the next question. So at the moment I'm just doing a tubular peyote stitch just to create a base, and then we can start adding things onto the top. Have you done tubular peyote before? Let me know in the chat. There's different ways of doing it. There is even, uneven. If you do even, like you need to always step up somewhere. So I'm just pulling it through, adding a little bit more length to it. I can just hear Lucy's coming back on, but coming through the back door. That's right. I'm not sure if you can hear it, if it's coming through. But they are. They went to an escape room tonight, and it sounds like they escaped because they're home. Have you ever done an escape room? Let me know in the chat. I did it once and it was really great fun. Although we got out with like 1 minute 30 seconds to spare for the hour, but I definitely would go and do one. The one I did was called Calamity Mines, and like it's 4 of you doing it. They put you into 2 teams, and there you start off in 2 separate rooms, and then you have to work together to kind of open the doors and be able to join each other. It was really good fun. There's like a little hatch in the door where you can talk and pass things through, but that's about it. It was really good, really good fun. So I'm looking forward to do another one. Richard is saying she has done tubular peyote. Hi Amelia, nice to see you here. Barbara is saying, I have been crocheting a baby blanket for my daughter's friend. Oh, bless you. I love doing baby stuff because they're kind of like little small and cute pieces, and because they're small they grow quite quickly, and even if you do like a blanket, it's not sort of like big in size, so it's kind of does knit up, and usually use like smaller yarn, and I love it. I really love knitting baby stuff, although I don't know when was the last time I did it. Just keep going through. There we go. So I'm just gonna add maybe just a half an inch more, and then we can start decorating. Shall we try the chips? Let me know in the chat if you should try the chips. I think it would look really good. And then actually we could kind of leave, because it's slightly twist, but we don't have to add it all the way around. If we left a couple of, I'm wondering if we left a couple of rows out, would then that sit in a way that the bottom part of the bracelet would be without the chips closer to your, but I think it does twist around, so perhaps that's not gonna work like that. Not gonna work quite well. So we have to wait and see. So I'm just picking up one seed bead, missing one, going through the next. I almost picked up two again. DIY Dream Buddings here. Hi everyone. She says hi to you too. Nice to see you here. So I'm just adding a few more. Right. Shall I grab chips, or shall I grab pearls? Or we could do like a little section with either one of those, and we could see how does it look like. So what I will do, I'll just leave this one and the needle on it. I'm gonna take more thread from the end, like the tail end, and we're gonna start decorating from there. So if you need to add a bit of length to it, then we can. Oh, Sue's saying remember the like button. Thank you so much, Sue. Every single like, every single share is really helps the channel out, and really, really appreciate it. I'm just so chuffed, like everybody who's like turning up on a Wednesday afternoon to watch me. It's just really nice to spend time together and just sort of do beading and work out different things as we go along. I really just love it. Right, okay, so I got a good length there, almost 2 inches. Right, I'm gonna grab more thread off the bobbin, and we can start decorating from that side. So chips, pearls, or crystals, or a mixture. We could do a mixture as well. That would work as well. So let me know in the chat. Chips, pearls, or they'll be bigger. I'm gonna get another needle. Chips, pearls, crystals, or a mixture. Let me know in the chat what you fancy me putting on the top. So it's a blue one. So we need something blue. I think I got some blue sandstone chips, which would probably look really nice on the top of that. And then I need to grab some size 11 seed beads to go with it as well. Makes sense. Good. So he's saying, okay, cool. So I'm very quickly gonna grab chips, pearls, and crystals. Ooh. I've got a bit of lapis. I think that would look quite nice. That's kind of sort of my color. Pearls. I think I'm gonna go in with 3mm pearls. Because we don't want the pearls and the crystals too big, and perhaps let's do, have we got 3mm crystal, a bluey color, or 4mm. We could do 4mm. This is the, no, and that's blue as well. I got these two blue, which are 3mm crystals, or we could do with 4mm crystals. So we could do 3mm, but I think the 3mm will look nicer. Oh, and size 11 seed beads just behind me. So I'm gonna use the shiny version of that base. Shiny version of that base. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. We could create loops, or we could go back on ourselves. I think when you go back on yourself, it's like curling as well. So this one, for this one, we came up, we went to the chip, added a bead at the end and gone back, which is, this is great as well. But I think if we create a loop, will be easier and sort of give a better flow for the whole sort of bracelet. So I think I'm going to use those. I'm going to use the darker pearl, the lighter crystal, to give a bit of a sort of sparkle in there, and then the chips themselves. So we got, how many sides have we got here? So we got 5, we got 4, I think. So if we go in order, picking them up, we could pretty much get around. So just gonna cut the chips, get a few of the chips up as well. So let's try the loops. So not doing, instead of doing sort of fringes or fringettes, I'm gonna try loops on the end. Hold on, let me just move these chips before they all escape on me. So as I'm coming out, just move that about. So as I'm coming out of this bead right here, I'm actually going to weave my thread into the next couple of rows. So I got an end here, which we will decide later on what to do. So to do a loop, we're going to pick up, let's say 3 size 11s, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pick up a chips and another 3 size 11, 1, 2, 3. And then as I'm coming out of this bead here, I'm just going to go into the next one. Just like that. So I'm just doing a little loop on there. Or shall I do it around the bead? Because if I do it this way, it's kind of go on the side as it does. I'm gonna go back, and I think I'm gonna do around the bead. So I'm coming out of this bead, I'm gonna go through that bead again and see what does it look like. I think it will be a more straight loop. Can you see? It's better, I think, that way. And then I'm gonna step to the next bead. So I'm just gonna go through the next bead, and this time I'm gonna pick up 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. Let's pick up a crystal and another 3 seed bead. 1, 2, 3. And once again, I'm gonna come through this seed here and the next one, and just have that little loop. Again, 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pick up a pearl and then 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna come through this seed bead again and the one in front of it and pull this up, and then I'm back doing chip. Right, okay, so what's happening, because if you're going to follow one linear side here, we're going to have some missing out. So we kind of have to gonna wave up and down with our thread. Chip. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do a little length that just like this, so you know what I mean. And then maybe it will work out actually, because we're using, so was it crystal first? You could pick them up randomly, like you don't have to have a pattern. Going through that and into the next one. So if I just go around like that, I'm gonna have one row which will completely miss the loop. So kinda have to step back at some point. So what I'm gonna do, what shall we do? I'm gonna just stitch down into this bead here, and I'm gonna do a few loops going around there. But it doesn't really matter, because if you're gonna have like a shaggy look, it doesn't really matter that if you miss a bead, you're not really gonna see it, because it's these seed beads are gonna be above it. So let's just pull that up and then go into the next. So let's do a chip. Just pull these seed beads closer. They're like halfway across the table. I'm gonna do a chip. 1, 2, 3. Again, going through the same bead and the bead in front of it. I'm pulling it up nice and tight. I'm gonna do a crystal, 1, 2, or a pearl. It doesn't really matter. I think I'm just gonna pick it up random. I'm gonna do a pearl, 1, 2, 3, seed bead. Again, the same, and the one in front. Somehow got in front of myself. Maybe that's where we need to go down there. Okay, cool. So 1, 2, 3 seed bead. I'm gonna pick up a chip. Chips are come in all sorts of different sizes, so it's quite good to, and I'm gonna step down into that row. I think it would look quite cute just having chips on it as well. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Minnie's asking what we're making today. I have no idea, Mina. We're just like playing around. I think it's gonna be a bracelet, but it's based on a peyote tube, and then we're decorating the top. But there is many different ways to decorate the top, so we're just kind of doing looping to feel one side done, sort of an inch or so. They kind of gonna bunch together. I can't talk tonight. Good evening, Debbie. Nice to see you here. Hi everyone. Been making chainmail fiddle chains for sensory needs people. Oh, bless you. Looks like I need to make more. That mixture of beads and crystal sounds fab, she says. So 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna pick up a chip. And another 3 seeds. And then pulling this up. I got a little knot on my thread, which I do not want. So let me know what you've been up to this week, what you've been beading. We had a lovely bank holiday, and actually the weather was so great. I don't know what happened with the weather because it's went away. Because today it was kind of like a little bit miserable, and last couple of days like really cold. We went down to walk Roxy and yesterday, and it was freezing cold, very icy cold wind, and today as well. Really, if the wind would have been there, it would have been such a lovely and warm day. I'm just really looking forward to some good weathers. Right, so I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm gonna doing the same thing. So picking up 3 seed beads and a cheap pearl or crystal, and another 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, and then coming through the same one, and then a one in the front. So I think you always want to go to the one which just hasn't got a loop on it already, and that's kinda all you have to pay attention, that you're going to that direction. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pick up a chip, and then 1, 2, 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, and coming through again from the other side and going into the next one. And I'm gonna keep on continue doing that. Let's pick up a pearl. I can't see any sort of pearl here, so let's pick up a pearl there, and then I'm gonna one. Sometimes like this project is like you need to do quite a bit of it before it looks really good, because at the moment it just looks like a bunch of beads on the end, but I think once we do a bit of a length, it's going to look really good. I'm going to move these chips to further to this side because I keep crossing my own hand. So I'm going to pick up a chip. I would like to try just with chips. I think how would it look? I think it looked great. And again, going into the next one, that's already got a loop. I'm picking up a crystal. 1, 2, 3, and then going to the next one that's got loop on it already. So I'm gonna go into the next one, which is, and just going around really. It's it's nice because it's like a no-brainer. Like you don't have to think about it, where you're going or where you're coming. You just keep picking up 3 seed beads, a crystal, a pearl, or a chip, and just keep going around. But I think it would look nice just with chips as well. What do we think so far? Let me know in the chat. Loving the blue. I love the blue as well. Blue is one of my favorite colors. There we go. And keep picking up 3 seed beads, a chip, pearl, or crystal, and keep adding the loops on the top. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pick up a pearl. Haven't picked up a pearl in a while. And another 3 seeds. Almost forgot to pick up the seeds. Going through that one and the one in front. There we go. And again. I think it will be like much quicker to do the base than do the loops on the top, because virtually we're creating a loop for every single top. And I wonder if we could do the 2 at the same time. So when we add our bead in one row, we would be but then we would cover the bead up, I guess. We have to have a play in the end, because I think if there was a way to add the loops at the same time as you are adding the length of your bracelet, that would be good. I think that if they grow together. There we go. Next one, I'm gonna add a chip. But you could use up all sorts of bead soups. I mean, they don't have to be a certain size. You could even add maybe a couple of larger beads. Even 6mm pearls would look really nice in there, making it a bit more chunky. Because I tend to do like sort of little smaller, daintier beadwork and thinner, and love like sort of thinner bracelets, because the fact that I can then go ahead and wear more than one at the same time, so I can stack them up, and and then it's like still looks chunky on me, but I stacked it up. So I think sometimes doing something a little bit chunkier, and especially the summer's coming, like you could, because you're not going to be wearing jumpers and all sorts of things, it will be nice to wear. Sometimes I just like to wear like a bracelet and perhaps some earrings, some dangle earrings, and that's it, like no necklace or nothing else. So keep picking up 3 seed beads, a chip, a pearl, and carrying on. So what do we think so far? We got kind of like a little length. I think we need a little bit more. So it will kind of look something, but kind of I like this loopy look against this look. So this is the look when you just use chips and you go up on the top, and it's the size 15 on there. So you got X amount of sort of seed beads underneath it. But I think I like this look. This one looks like nicely kind of like organized in a way, but this one looks like a little bit messier, but I think it's quite nice to see that sort of spirals in it in a way. So I'm keep picking up 3 seed beads, a pearl, and 3 seed beads. And the next one, I'm going to pick up a chip again. Well, this one is quite a big chip which is coming up. Looks like a beach theme style. Oh wow, yeah, I think that's a really good really good observation. We could do in all sorts of beach colors as well, but I think it would look really good. You could do it as a necklace, or you could do it as on the end of a lariat as well. There is many ways you can use this up, or we could design many different things with it. It's just like putting something together and then just having a little play with it. How is that stitch or technique, you know, or those sort of beads within that combination, what jewelry or home decor even suits the best. Sometimes it's a bracelet, sometimes a necklace. I am partial to bracelets rather than necklaces, I have to admit, but I do love making necklaces as well. I'm just making sure it's not looped around the others. And I'm just keep going and adding 1, 2, 3. What shall we add? Let's add a chip. These are beautiful chips, these lapis chips. And another 3 seed beads. I'm going to do every other one I'm going to do as a chip. So I want to ramp up the chips a little bit. What would it look like if you kind of just had a chip and maybe the odd crystal here and there? I think that would be good. DIY Dream Wedding saying she doesn't wear necklaces much either. I don't know. For me, I always used to have either a chain necklace, or I loved wearing pendants as well. But when when my son was little, when he was just a little baby, the first thing he used to do when I picked him up, if I had a necklace on, he would literally eat the necklace. He would put the pendant in his mouth and start chewing on it. So I kind of stopped wearing and tugging and pulling on the necklace. So I kind of like stopped wearing necklaces then. Bracelets, not so much, because you can start to kind of keep your hand away from them. But with necklaces, when you pick them up, they're right there on the necklace. So I kind of stopped wearing them, and it's strange. Like, I don't know why. Like, I still got my chains. Like, I don't know why I never really went back to wearing them. And Christopher's obviously 12 now, so it's been a very long time. Maybe he's just fallen out of practice, I guess. But bracelets I like, and rings I like, pretty much all sorts. And stepping into that one, I'm getting quite a length on it now, so I think it's looking really good. I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna ramp it up with the chips. I'm gonna pick up more chips and see. If we just had it one, the pearl or the crystal, what do you think would be better with the chips? Having just pearls or just crystals? If we just had one in the sort of mixtures, I think the crystals kind of stand out a bit more than the pearls. The pearls kind of just sort of seep in. So maybe I'm going to add a pearl. The next one, maybe it's nice to have just one with the chips. But then how would it look like if we had more chips, added more than one chips in the same stitch? Because we could do that as well. So kind of what we could do, I'm going to do one here. What we could do, so instead of picking up 3 seed beads and chips, maybe if I just picked up, what would that like if I picked up one chip and 1 seed bead and 3 chips, 1, 2, 3, and then another seed bead. So how is this gonna stand? Because we could create these loops and we could pretty much add anything onto it. So there we go. Let's have a look at the 3 chips together sitting there. I don't dislike it. I think maybe perhaps need a seed bead in between. You could do more like that as well. I'm going to leave it on it and I'm going to continue. I'm going to pick up a crystal, so you could create larger sort of sections. But I definitely think if you had a bead soup for this one, maybe even going up into 6 mm beads, and we could use all sorts of beads on there, that would be perfect. Or leftover beads, if you just have a few beads left over for a particular project, you could always use it up in this way. And cross colors as well, so you could mix like pinks and purples together, teals with blues, or greens, red with oranges and yellows. I love mixing red with oranges and yellows because it kind of really makes the red stand out. Bring it to that one. So I did stay quite a long thread with this one when started, and it's using up quite a bit of thread. So doing the loops, you're gonna use up loads and loads of thread. And we only done, well, not only, but just over an inch of sort of coverings on there. What do you think? The chips are pretty, thank you. I love my gem bracelets, the DIY Dream Wedding saying. Yeah, I love them too. I love everything in gemstones. I don't know, like there's lots of people saying, oh, when you touch them it's always cold, and you know they're really smooth, and like I've seen gemstones, and obviously I had gemstones as well which was unpolished, which they got like a little bit more rougher surface. So if you think about lava beads, they got a bit more rougher surface as well. But I definitely think that there is something about the raw material having as a natural material, and they do really feel really nice to next to the skin. I do love gemstones as well. And I don't even know what's my favorite. I would, if I have to pick one which is my favorite, I think it would have to be either labradorite or amazonite. Those two are the one, like, but you can't really choose because like there is loads of them. Like I love amethyst too, but I think labradorite or amazonite would be my ultimate favorite. What yours? Let me know in the chat. What would be your favorite gemstone or go-to gemstone to use? Also cheer you up in winter. Red, orange, yellow sounds great for summer. Also cheer you up in winter. Yeah, absolutely. You have to, sometimes you have to do summer projects in the winter just to like sort of get ready and get ahead of the summer as well, of course. So it's always, I like to work with all sorts of colors all around the year, I think. So I'm gonna put this big chip on here. I've got one piece which is quite big, but we're just gonna put it in. There we go. So I think it definitely needs something. Just chips on their own is not kinda enough, but maybe the pearls and crystals are kind of too much. So you just need the odd crystal here and there just to give it a bit of a sparkle. But other than that, and because like I'm holding it from the bottom, but it's kind of flattens out at the bottom against my finger. So I do think that the chips and sort of the loops are gonna kind of go left and right on the top of your wrist. Blue lace agate, I love Susan. I love blue lace agate. They have our dream wedding saying amethyst. There's so many. I do like they're all sort of like, I like citrine as well. That's a really nice color. I love garnet. I love garnet as well, with its like sort of really dark purple color. There's so many. Lapis is nice as well. Like the one we're working now. I really love that one as well. This side there's just so many. Bronzite is quite nice. Like I need a few more seed beaded, but we got quite a bit of length there, and I think that looks really good. So what shall we change on it? I think definitely take out the pearls, do more chips, and just do like the odd crystal here or there. I think that would really brighten it up, and this could be a really nice, I mean it's not too chunky on my wrist, to be honest. I would definitely just sort of wear it as a loose bracelet, but I can also imagine this in a necklace. We could go down and instead of having 3 seed beads, just adding 2 seed beads on the top. That would make a difference as well. That would make it slightly smaller. But for a necklace, for a front, you could have it as a front piece as well. It would really sit nicely. Really would sit nicely sort of on the front of the necklace. Be my thing, I always love purple in hematite. Hematite is great too, yeah. Rose quartz, so you're saying? However, I don't think there is one I don't like. Yeah, actually that's true. Like, I don't think there's a stone what I don't like, because they all can be put with all sorts of different things. So, you know, you can. I'm going to add a bit of length. We got a bit of time, so I'm going to add a bit of length here. And let's try, how is it going to look if we reduce the 3 seed beads to 2 at least, so we know how is it going to look. I'm going to go through this last row just one more time, because this one is come undone a little bit, just to tighten it up. And then I'm going to add a bit of length. And maybe we will skip a few rows, so we will have a clear divide between the 2 seed beads and the 3 seed beads. And funny enough, like sometimes just changing one number of seed beads can make all sorts of, you know, it can make all the difference. Like seed, missing one, going through one, another seed, missing one, going through the next one, another seed, missing one, going through the next one. There we go. Seed, missing one, going through the next one. Seed, missing one, going through the next one. Seed, there we go. And again, I'm just going to add a few more rows, so we got something to work on too. I'm just trying to bead as quick as I can here. Rachel is saying, I like amethyst. I love amethyst, and I love fluorite too. I love fluorite. Be nice as a focal in a necklace. Yeah, absolutely. We could do like a little bit and then just have it plain, and then go back and do sort of another bunch and then have it plain. We could play around with all sorts of different variations of this. There we go. Just keep going around. Keep picking one up. There we go. Just a few more beads. That was with my top. Yeah, absolutely. I think I always, I definitely recognize this. This is very true. Like when I teach classes in person as well, and people picking the colors, what they're gonna be working with, and I'm not joking. Like the majority of the time, maybe 6 times out of 10, people do pick colors what they are wearing. So the more time they would pick colors they're wearing than less time, if that makes sense. Right, so what we're going to do, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to just leave a little bit of gap there and come up with the size 11s. I'm going to reduce the size of the loop to 2 seed beads instead of 3, and I'm going to add, not discard, but I'm going to first put the pearls to the side, and I am going to use just the chips and a few crystals. Could you do it on a double right hand weave as a base? I think you could do it on all sorts of different things. I just wanted to try in the round, because I think sometimes it's so nice, and you kind of have like a bit of a jingly effect as well when you do loops or you do fringes in a round going around your wrist. Right, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through this very last row one more time. So I have got a nice, so it's not, the thread is not going to go back on itself. There we go. So I'm going to come up with the other thread, and there I am. So I'm going to come through a few beads. So I want the gap between the two, which obviously like you wouldn't have a gap if you're making a full bracelet all together, unless if you wanted to, but I just want to see where one starts and the other one finishes, so we will see the difference between the two stitching, sort of the 2 seed bead and a 3 seed bead, and using majority of chips here. I'm just taking a few more chips off my strand. So with size 11 seed beads too. So not 3 but 2 seed beads we're going to use from here. So I'm going to pick up 2 seed bead, I'm going to pick up a chip and another 2 seed bead, and I'm going to go to the same one and the one in front. So let's have a look. The loop is much smaller, can you see? But I don't think we could go down to 1. We could try to go down to 1, but I think that would be too small. So 2 seed beads, chip, and especially depending how big is the chip saw we have. And next one. So I'm very quickly gonna run around and add a few more bits to the top here. Another chip. Just pull this up nice and tight. Going through the same one. And I'm going to pick up a crystal. And then go to the next one. I'm going to pick up a chip next. So instead of 3 seed beads, I'm just picking up 2 seed beads here. Marcy's saying, shoot, I'm late. Will I see the whole project later fast? So we've been doing, or sort of playing around with peyote stitch, tubular peyote stitch. And what we're doing, we're just adding little loops on the tube which we created already, so we can go around. And I just found the microcrystal in my seed beads by similar color. So there's a rogue microcrystal in there. So here we done 3 seed bead loops, and I'm just trying out how much smaller the 2 seed bead loop would be. We also added crystals and pearls in the previous one, and this one we're just going to add crystals with the chips. So I'm going to add a crystal actually under here, right here. So just a few crystals, just to sparkle it up a bit. So we're going to see how much smaller if we went down, adding 1 less seed bead on there. And there we go. I'm adding another chip. Kind of like have to pull it away, but because I added 2, some of these bigger chips are just kind of sitting quite tight, so perhaps we do need the 3. But then again, these are the things like you don't know until you try it. You have to try all of these things out. I'm gonna pick up another chip. I'm just rolling this chip around my table trying to find a hole. I think gemstone chips are such a great way to have sort of gemstones in your jewelry, because they're the most inexpensive form of the gemstone itself. So picking up 2 seeds, chip, another 2, and going through the same bead, then the bead in front. Right, I'm going to hold on to it differently because I'm gonna hold on to the end. There we go. That will be better. That's better. So 2 seeds, gemstone chip, another 2 seeds, and then into the next one. Two seed, gemstone chip, another 2 seed, and then going through the next one. There we go. Come on, I got a little knot. And pull this up nice and tight. Don't knot on me in the last few minutes. There we go. You've been behaving, thread, all evening. You've been behaving. So I don't want you to rogue right now. Just bear with us for a few more stitches. And going through the same bead, and I'm going to go to the same one in front as well. You hold the loop out of the way so we don't get caught. 2 seeds, chip, another 2 seeds. So what do we think so far? Let me know in the chat. What would you do differently on the bracelet until I do this last few stitches here to see. I kind of do like it with 3 seed beads because I can see it here that it's getting a little bit. But if the chips were smaller, yeah, absolutely, we could try it with smaller chips. This is where just the ones I kind of like nicked out of the cupboard. So it's nice to you could try it with some, but maybe with smaller chips it would be like it wouldn't be chunky enough to cover up the rope itself. Definitely I think worth, and I like the looping because when you have to go backwards and forwards as you're going with, if you just add the chips on straight, which that looks great as well, it's kind of harder in a way because you have to keep on holding, you have to keep putting down your work and hold down to the end of the very last seed bead at the tip so you can tighten it up. And with here you kind of, because you're doing the loops, you don't really need to take anything out of your hand. You can keep on going and adding your seed beads and chips and crystals or whatever you really want to add to the top. Another 2, and then going through this and the next one. Right, what do we think? Let's have a look. I think that will be sort of enough length. Definitely I can see it that this is smaller. I'm not sure if I prefer that to that. I think I'm gonna have to do a separate length to be really able to see it to sort of that to that. But I'll have a little play with this week. I have a little play with it tomorrow, and I'll post it up what I come up with, because I think it's definitely worth it. It will be a very lovely, easy project to do, and we could have so many different applications with it. And depending, like, you know, if you're using chips, there is like so much on a large strand of chips. This was the other technique what we did in the bead club as well. Let me just zoom out a bit so you can see both what we did before. So while I was talking, you have to hold on to the bead at the end to pull it back through. So I do like this shaggy version, but we need to have a link. Well, you have a think. I have a little play with it tomorrow. It looks pretty DIY. But the question, will it be heavy or light? I don't think it's gonna be a light bracelet because by just judging by that, but I don't think it's gonna be very heavy either, because we're doing the loops. It's kind of like fluffy at the same time as it's chunky. So I think it's gonna be a good weight to it, but it's not gonna be too heavy. Like the 3 seeds, makes it jangle. Oh yes, absolutely. I really enjoyed make the tree of life with gemstone chips. I love using gemstone chips, and I don't like, it's the same as, I think gemstone chips are the same as bugles, because bugles we don't use enough either. You kind of sort of like forget about them. So maybe we should, maybe we should do more of them. I can see it's in different shade of orange. Yeah, you could do in all sorts of different different colors. Right. Thank you very much for watching me today. I'll be back next week. I don't think it's me. I think I'm back on Monday on Totally. We had to change some dates with Natalie. So I will see you there, or I will be back here next Wednesday evening. Everybody have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye.